Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Salutations, club members, and welcome to another meeting of Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. Tonight.
What's up?
Do you hear that? Is that Sam?
That was me. Sorry, I jumped right on top of you.
No, it's fine. You know what? In a Romero-verse scenario, we all need to stick together, I think, is the main thing.
That's true.
Yeah. And big spoiler, there is no movie tonight because we are covering the entire Romero zombie verse. Actually, we're just going to talk about every movie. So this episode is probably going to be about 15 hours long. I hope everyone wants a sleeping bag.
It's like how we covered each movie already in this. We're gonna do the exact same thing. But like a marathon,
but longer. No, this is we're gonna be sitting down and kind of having a nice conversation about
wrap up.
It's our franchise wrap up, baby.
Yeah,
we got through a whole bunch of Romero zombie movies, and we get to now discuss it. And who are we going to be discussing this with? Well, the apples of my eye. The most lovable human beings on the planet. We have the Horror Bandwagon, Cody and Sergio. Thank you so much for being here.
Let us in. Let us in. There's fucking zombies out here.
And personally, I am ready to defend every bad take that I've had over this entire franchise.
I don't know if we have enough time.
That'll be all our Patreon exclusive stuff. It's just gonna be us ranting.
I couldn't tell you anything I've said about any of these movies so far. I could contradict myself entirely.
I'm so afraid of doing that. I'm going to like bash one of the movies and be like, that's not what you said, Sergio. They're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's going to turn out that we actually give Diary of the Dead 5s across the board.
It's a certified Chuddle.
Across the board. Yeah. Well, happy to be here, guys. Thank you for letting us into this cabin in the woods that is secluded from everywhere.
Welcome.
And no one's going to come get us.
Absolutely no one's. That moaning that you hear outside, don't even worry about it. We got boards, we got nails. We're
This is a little bit like a meat fest, though. Like if we need to repopularize like society, I think we're kind of screwed. But hey, we got keep on endless cum for years.
There's a whole moat of cum outside, actually.
We're currently still making cum. Have you ever thought about that? Like they were just boiling in cum. I'm getting the cum-meter up.
Sorry, how long did it take? Is that a record?
That is a record because I think we are only at 12 minutes. No, sorry. Yeah, we're about 12 minutes in. No, we're recording 12 minutes.
We're not.
No, we're like 5 minutes into this episode. That is fantastic.
Not even.
Also,
damn,
now
sorry, guys.
See, now I'm getting the visualization. You know, like Land of the Dead, where they're all emerging out of the water?
Yes.
Okay, but the moat of semen.
The moat of semen.
Yeah, it's that. Would they? Is it too viscous?
Glazed zombies.
Glazed. This episode. Oh, speaking of our first sponsor,
zombies.
Thank you, Krispy Kreme Donuts, for sponsoring the first ever Chuddle the Pod. All right,
I need me some glazed zombie. That sounds pretty good.
All right, before we get into the madness, which we've already kind of done that, we also have to take a massive thank you to our Coven of Witches on our Patreon. Shout out to all of those beautiful witches. Your sacrifices give us life, and we thank you for your beautiful souls. There is speaking of lagoons and moats, there is a lagoon of just back episodes. We've got specialized episodes. We have
a lagoon of cum, if you will.
A lagoon. We're trying to sell it, Sam. I don't know if that's good. All right, you know what?
Some people will choose it just for that.
It depends. Yeah,
it depends.
Know your audience. We are the show.
Know your ice cream. So we have back episodes. We've also got specified episodes. We do we've done a little bit of gnarly history. We've also got some Chuddle battles. We've got news. We got a bunch of other fun stuff like that.
Yeah, we do non-horror movies,
non-horror movie
stuff.
It's fantastic. It's $3 to get a membership. It's membership dues and fees. If you feel frisky, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, with that all said and done, I feel that it is time to crack open our George Romero goo book for the evening.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
So, should we just straight up go to the spoiler
I forget how
zone?
these are structured, actually. I'm like,
yeah, let's go to the structure for this is different. I mean, we're talking about the franchise, so we're going to be talking about every movie in here, and spoilers may come up.
But in what order? Next time you should just like have them in like a randomized generator, and you spin it and be like, we're talking about the fourth movie.
Movie today. Let's do it. All right. You know what? That's actually a good idea, Sam. All right, everybody hop into Dead Reckoning because...
Spoiler zone.
All right, guys. We're talking about George Romero's zombie universe.
Mm-hmm.
What are your guys' impressions of, say, Romero's zombies versus, say, the other zombie movies? Is there a particular? Do you like this flavor of zombie?
Well, they sort of are a little bit different in each one, right? But generally, we're talking about a stumbly, brainless.
Yes.
Mostly brainless.
Yes, they evolve. See, this is the one that's weird because they start to learn.
They do.
I do feel bad because I started my journey with zombies with the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which are like crazy batshit runners.
Ooh, yes.
So I always never gave enough credit to George Romero's zombies. So visiting these have actually made me appreciate them a little bit more. Like, sometimes a flavor of slow walking zombies is something you just need. It's an itch that needs to be 100%.
I almost think that slow walking zombies are like maybe a little scarier just purely because of the inevitability of it. Like runners are one thing where like, sure, they're going to run at you. You have to be quick on the trigger.
What is fear in that moment anyways?
But like the fact that these zombies are like just plodding along all nice and slow and still they're like, they get to your house. They're knocking down the door. They're coming after you. Yeah. And they're different shades of blue depending on the season. And I like that. You can get the whole collection.
Depends on the season.
And when you have slow zombies, they come in all different shapes and ages. Fast zombies are always pretty fit.
That's true. Very true. That is very true.
Yeah, at least the Romero zombie verse, I feel that I could actually like habitate. You know what I mean? Like I feel it when I watch the Romero movies that like I could be a part of that universe, or that universe could be happening to me. When it comes to fast moving zombies, and don't get me wrong, I think that I tons of respect for the remake of Dawn of the Dead. The cardio alone, trying to I would get nuked in 30 seconds. Like I would be the dude who would be watering his yard and then getting clipped like a linebacker, and then that would be it. Like that. There's no I feel like I'm not physically built for that universe. Romero's universe, absolutely. And I do agree with you, Cody. I think like having the idea of it, the slow lurch to me is like, it's weirdly disarming. And I think that's the scariest thing about them is that like, oh my God, he's 2 miles away. Whatever. They're not going to get here. And then like, you just forget about them because they're so slow. And then you turn around and go, oh no, there's 100 of them now on the fence.
Well, and I think it's really interesting that you bring up the point about like this feeling a little more survivable. Like you could carve out your little like piece of land and have a little farm or whatever. Oh, totally. Because as you go through this entire series, it shows you that like no version of that succeeds. You have the first night where you find a house, you bar yourself in the house, you think you're fine, you're not fine. You get to the second movie where you find a mall, you barricade yourself in the mall. It has pretty much everything that you could ever want. And
still doesn't work out.
And then you eventually get taken over by Tom Savini and his group of motorcycle gang. And then you die. You have,
then you go underground.
You go underground. You don't win. You go into a like special sectioned off part of Pittsburgh where it's just rich white people.
And a high rise.
And you still die. And then you have an island that should be completely devoid of all zombies. Dead.
Absolutely. Dead. And everyone on there is dead. Yeah, I get it. Really doesn't. It's
never had the chance to do space.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yet.
If he comes back as a zombie, I guess.
Okay, guys, if
that's
we get
full circle right there.
If we get holographic Tupac, I think that we at a certain point we can get holographic George Romero to direct one more for us.
Things that AI
is a zombie.
AI is gonna
just back as a zombie.
Well, I was doing my research for this recording on Wikipedia, and apparently there is a Of the Dead movie that is slated to come out at some point in the future that like he wrote part of before he passed, and it's being like produced and directed
that's cool.
like from
I've
what
heard
he
of
wrote.
that. I didn't know that it was happening.
Called Twilight of the Dead.
Ooh, glittery.
Did we talk about
I feel
this?
like we talked about Twilight of the Dead.
We did. We talked about it during...
Well, I feel like during Land of the Dead, maybe.
Yes.
Cody, I believe, had the point of
the book.
What would follow naturally. After day.
That's so funny. Do you think the tagline, not the tagline, but like above the title was like From the Grave, George Romero presents.
From Beyond the Grave,
From
George
Beyond
Romero.
the Grave.
Honestly, that'd be amazing.
That's actually kind of pretty gnarly. I feel like he would
do
appreciate
something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And out of anybody on the planet, you know for a fact that man would have loved to have been advertised.
That's kind of badass. I would like that.
That's kind of amazing. All right, I'm making the pledge here. Once that movie comes out, we're going to reconvene.
Yes.
And we're definitely going to be covering that. I feel like that needs to happen.
Interesting.
I mean, it might be a few years from now.
Of the Dead movies that aren't Romero that we're not covering.
Oh, shit.
Well, this one's written by him. You know what I mean? So
it's From Beyond the Grave.
If it says From Beyond the Grave, we have to cover it.
Though, funny enough, have you guys played the Walking Dead Telltale video games?
I played chapter 1.
I may have played the first one,
yeah. I don't want to spoil it then, though.
I'm not at...
Spoiler for anybody who plans to play
6 years.
it. But we actually had quite a conundrum in one of our live streams, because at some point we have this character who is introduced, and it's like the final season. It's like the final video game season, and they introduced the idea of this character who is kind of like teaching the zombies, learning them, kind of hurting them in a little bit, and he's trying to tell the main character that like, no, they're learning, they're kind of like adjusting to life, and there's more to them. And obviously they give you choices to make, where they're like, do you agree with this? Do you not agree with this? And the choices matter as to how things progress. Everyone in our chat was just like, fuck no, this guy's crazy. Like, no, they're zombies, they're gonna kill us. And then us being like, ooh, we just went through a whole Romero universe. We're like,
they could
learn. They could think about this.
It's like, does the character have a twin that's dead on a horse?
We're like, wait, this depends. Honestly, that would have been kind of funny if they did like a little
just a little Romero nod to it.
A little Romero nod. But that was so interesting that we kind of like thought about that in that moment, going through this franchise and kind of having Romero put this into our minds. Though I kind of feel like, do you think we reached that level of like us being sentimental towards the zombies in that way?
Sometimes I think
a
so.
little bit, yeah. I think it's because like, you know, you really do, and I think it turns in Day of the Dead, where you start getting very sympathetic towards the zombies because you realize that they are more than just
Dr. Frankenstein and
two-dimensional characters. You know what I mean? Where it's just this like, okay, so they're not just basing, or at least at this point in whatever disease they have, that like it is now like they're now recalling certain things, and maybe some of the nods that we got in the first two movies where like they're going to the mall and doing things, it's like, oh, maybe that's like part of their memory kind of imprinting that they have to be here and start doing things. Because I mean, like if we're basing it off like Dawn and Night, it's like, oh, okay, well they can rudimentary use tools, but that's about it, and like it's that. But by the time we get to like, I mean, they're riding horses in Survival. I mean, like we have a completely different breed of zombies.
Well, and I actually feel like Survival throws a little bit of a wrench in the mix, because if I'm remembering correctly, the movie almost makes a distinction between like some zombies who are more capable of resuming their like pre-zombie life.
Yeah.
And others that like are mostly feral and like you have to chain them up so that they can just go check the mail every day.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's like, it seems that there's like weird levels of intelligence. And I don't know if that's because of point of infection or how they died or, you know what I mean? Like there could be a
still a meritocracy.
It's a D&D style system, actually.
It is.
Depends on your class.
The barbarians. There's also the bards that kind of just go back and forth. All right. Speaking of, do you guys have, what are your favorite zombies out of this series? I mean, that kind of just really stand out to you.
Well, Bub is my favorite.
Bub is
by far from Day of the Dead.
I think is what was his name? Big Daddy or Daddy?
Big Daddy and Day of the Dead.
Big Daddy's pretty badass and one that I actually was rooting for to kick some ass.
When we talked about sympathizing with him, he was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially how they portray him in the beginning of that movie, where it's like he's just like all these raiders are just killing zombies and just like fucking up his entire town.
And in that moment, they didn't need to. They were just like, "Oh, we're just gonna take this time to just fucking do this."
Yeah, exactly. They already got the sky flowers up. Like that's sky flowers.
I actually think my favorite zombies are from Dawn of the Dead, because I feel like we had that like perfect middle point where we weren't being super uniform with the zombies and how they behaved. So like everyone was just like bringing their own character to it, and it was unique, but it was a little bit progressed beyond the initial Night of the Living Dead, where I think we were just starting to figure out like what zombies in this universe were like. So totally. That feels like a good middle point for me, because you still have the like classic zombie. We aren't as much getting into the repeating what we used to do thing, but it's just a very unique like take on them compared to what we see in a lot of other, you know, zombie movies outside of this franchise, where we have just like the runners and they're all just animals trying to kill the very first thing that they see.
No, I totally agree with you, because while you were saying that, I completely forgot that like in that film, I mean, because we do get like the airport zombie, we get the two kid zombies that kind of pop out of the closet, but then as the movie progresses, don't like the guy, but fucking Flyboy's zombie literally leads an entire pack of zombies through a fake wall, like Wile E. Coyote, and up into like this thing where it's like you almost get hints of like almost the progression of what the intelligence is in one movie. You know what I mean? And I think you make a really good point of like the middle ground of like it's not the learning yet. It's not. And like it's a lot of different shades in comparison to especially the first one. Like this one we've got, oh my God, there's so many. Oh God. The one of my favorite zombies comes from that is the what is his name? Is it Carlito? No. It's the one that bites the woman's arm.
Like? It looks. Oh yes.
And you get that big chunk out of her
that was crazy.
Nape neck.
Tear out.
I remember that.
Oh my God. That one got me so, like as a kid, got me so bad.
Yeah, it's like nasty today.
It's so nasty. And then I think honestly, just the gut punch of the basement full of zombies in the apartment complex in the beginning, where it's just like and like, oh God, like I don't know, there is something like way more unsettling about Dawn's zombies versus some of the like the further installments and stuff for me. Although Bub is great, and then also Dr. Tongue, man, like we get
Absolutely.
I do gotta give a little bit of an honorable mention to. It's not fully a favorite of mine, because I kind of wanted them to do something different with the character. But what's her name in Survival? She was riding a horse.
The twin.
Tammy? Tina?
I don't know.
It's a T.
Cassandra?
I think it's a T.
No, okay.
Let me see if I have
my little Cody.
I thought it was awesome that we have this zombie twin who's riding on a horse, and I'm like, wow, that's badass. I think she's gonna kick ass and she's gonna be like doing all this shit, and then she doesn't, and then she bites a horse and bites her sister and fucks everything up.
It is sadly. That's actually a great interlude, because I also wanted to ask you guys, because obviously we have our, like our favorite zombies. What is the most insane kill from the series? Any major kills that really stand out? Because when you said that, I think the sleeper creeper for me, although not a big fan of the installment, a horde of zombies taking down a horse was probably one of the more insane things that I've seen.
I hated that so much. I hated it, but it was crazy that they went for it in that installment. I was like,
and it's so gory. It's just,
I gotta say, Day of the Dead, our buddy
Colonel Rhodes or Captain Rhodes, whatever it is.
That they split him open.
That's mine as well. The elevator opens and it's like all the hands.
Oh yes, that was sick.
Those ones are really, really good. I mean, dude, all of the guys, like just like the fingers in the eyeball and then his head getting ripped off, and that as he's screaming, like his vocal cords stretch, so it's like
oh yeah,
that was like
high pitched.
Yeah, I was like
distorted.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say those ones absolutely.
I really like in Diary the is it Samuel, right? That the zombies behind him and he shoves the scythe through his head.
That is a
zombie
great
behind him.
Yes. And also, I feel that Diary also had, which is weird, the most lackluster zombies. Like, it was...
Oh, yeah. It's the only, thing worth note in Diary.
Yeah. It's like that, and I think the clown zombie, the got your nose, and he takes the nose and takes his full nose out with it, which I was like, you didn't have to include that. I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
But that was highly unnecessary.
I don't remember much of what happened, but I remember being grossed out about it. I think you did too. But there's this part in Land of the Dead where they're in this like dark room and we have like a flashlight and people are like, there's gross shit happening. I can't remember what it is.
There's someone who has their whole fist in someone's mouth and then like pulls out their tongue guts. Mm-hmm. Like that one was pretty good. Yeah, it was. I thought it was really interesting in Land. Because like we do get some like pretty insane kills in that, but they're so short. they're like hidden by flashlights.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, and everything's dark. I remember we talked about that especially compared to the other movies. Like you still get some gnarly stuff, but you don't see it it's not lit nearly as well as it is in the previous movies.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I think wasn't that the installment that like a woman's face gets bitten off or something like that? But it's like 2 seconds. It's like 2 seconds, and you're like, it took me like 15 viewings to really realize like, oh, that happens in the background. Oh, great. What? Okay, so this is interjecting into the social messages of Mr. George A. Romero. Mm-hmm. Is there an installment that you guys feel really packed the punch and delivered versus other ones?
I actually think that Land of the Dead did a really good job of like portraying the like class difference both among survivors and like metaphorically between the survivors and the dead.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean that one had. I also love the fact that they still like money is their god, and they're still doing that. Just this weird facade of just like capitalism.
Yeah.
In the throes of the most insane shit. It's like the dead are coming from the road, but let's clear the bank.
No, capitalism never dies.
Never dies. That's the actual zombie.
You know a zombie can't kill?
Capitalism.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I really do like that. I think that unfortunately I feel in the Romero verse, after Land, I think some of the
significant drop off
on social messages.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he's kind of exploring the same ideas that he's explored in all the other movies, but sort of jammed into one and not really going in any of them too deeply.
I think Diary was the most like egregious for me, just because it's like he wants to do those same things, but it was like, okay, but let's make it modern.
Yeah, how do you do it without saying racial slurs? Like that's.
I think the other problem is we keep forgetting he didn't make Diary. That was somebody else, and it's the death of death.
It is the death of death. It was too good.
College.
It was too good. It was good. Yeah,
it's too good.
No, I think we kind of said it in Diary and Survival, is that it's almost like a greatest hits album, and it touches on a lot of different poignant things that he's kind of gone throughout his career, but it doesn't really drive any of them like fully home. I don't know. For me, I think probably the most effective, I think Dawn, honestly. I think Dawn had a lot of different aspects. It had a lot of things on like consumerism and greed. It also had the same thing with especially like the opening sequence with the disparaging stuff just about just racial tension and things like that leads into, and even getting out of that, you still have hints of that throughout the entire rest of the film. Yeah, I think Dawn is the one that got me thinking like more past the zombie aspect of it, and just kind of like, I think Day also kind of had some nods to it. It made me think a little bit, you know.
Oh, for sure.
I kind of want to throw the original Night of the Living Dead in, because even though like I think it's the one more on the nose, and you kind of it's just very clear, I do think for its time it was so impactfof, and I think as a piece of cinema, I think is very important to kind of like
the weird thing with Night of the Living Dead is it's less social commentary and more just like, I'm gonna have a black man be the hero.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's not, I don't know what sort of commentary that is, other than saying like black people can do stuff too.
Yeah,
but
like for the time,
it's more like just the act of casting him in that role and making it.
Yeah. Well, I think that with Night, it does show. I mean, obviously the glare of just racial indifference during that time era, and then really specifically too is that like the continuing conundrum of how people can fuck things up no matter what. Like I think that even at the end, when like Ben comes out of the basement and then wounds up still getting shot by some redneck dude, you know what I mean? Where it's like, and by accident,
my boy.
I think that's a really interesting theme. That no matter what, we're still going to kind of fuck it up. And I think in every installment of
I think it did a lot of damage to the white women community, but I think they made up for it in Dawn of the Dead with our girl.
I think that was, I really do appreciate, because there are other directors, other writers that kind of have a typecast kind of woman throughout most of their films.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that there is a really pivotal archway and evolution and progress when we get with our final girls, for better choice of words in these, which actually is great because it leads to my next question. Which one is your...
Hold on, because I gotta address something that I just said about Night of the Living Dead, and how it was just, brave of him or whatever to make the main character black. Wasn't thinking about the ending at all at the time, and like the clear messaging in that.
Oh my god! So just the photographs and things like that.
Mention that I somehow was completely missing that fact. I was like, the commentary's not really there. It's just, he made a black guy the hero.
except for the end.
Which is like a gut punch every time.
Oh, 100%. Because I mean, like the way that they have that set up, it does look like photographs of lynchings and things like that happen during that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we haven't seen the remake. We still haven't. I don't know why we haven't yet. So,
what's hilarious? I texted actually Sam about it. Is that because it came up on streaming, and I was like, part of me wanted to push this back one more cycle just so we could all watch the remake.
I was because we just popped in Dawn of the Dead, and I mean now it's too late, but like we wanted to watch that one. I totally forgot about the remake until literally this minute.
It's a I definitely do. I think the Tom Savini one is fantastic, and I think what he does in that a lot of the critiques that we had of the first one, I think get addressed and solved.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's an incredibly pleasant viewing. Specifically, too, the special effects work is amazing.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Does Tom Savini do it himself, or
he directed? I don't know. I don't know if it Nicotero. I think it was KNBFX. Did
it was probably KNB.
Yeah, which
cool. I can't wait.
It's worth it. So, leading back, do we have a particular final girl that we like over the rest in this series?
I'm torn between Dawn and
Dawn.
I was going to say, if anybody says
no,
Barbara.
Day.
I was torn between Dawn and Day, but I kind of feel like for Dawn, okay, forgive me. Can you remind me of their character names?
I can.
Or yeah, let's look it up real quick.
Day is Dr. Sarah Bowman.
Dawn is Francine.
Oh, Day is Sarah Bowman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dawn is Francine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I lean towards Francine because I think we see her growth throughout the entirety of the movie. She keeps on just getting more badass as she goes until she really makes a name for herself. And I think I lean a little bit more toward her just because I like that journey. Though Day, I think Sarah Bowman, I think she is also iconic, and I think she starts off already like
she's already
right.
She's already a badass bitch.
Yeah,
like we know that from Jump Street, and she just kind of solidifies it throughout it.
True.
But I think Francine's character, I really do agree because I think it's one of the more compelling aspects of, and I refer back to it, but it's like Walking Dead. Is that like you at the initial point of when this shit pops off, and then in Dawn when you're months invested in being in this survival mode, it's really cool to see the evolution of her character because she's incredibly, and I think obviously written that way, but kind of like on the fringe. Like she is voicing her opinion, but she's very meek in the fact of like doing like kind of going along with what Flyboy's going with and things like that. And then as the movie progresses, she gets more of a voice and is more really a hard ass when it comes to certain
I
things.
just still love that scene where she tells him off and it's just like, I'm doing this. I'm not listening to you. I just love that moment, especially because he is such a character who is just your, I get his want to protect her and all that, but at the same time, you're doing a lot more damage and like shake yourself a little bit.
God, yeah, I think it's every time I think of Flyboy, I just think of every scene where he's trying to shoot something, shooting it horribly, and then someone smacking the gun away from him, and then doing the perfect headshot, and then him being like, what? Because I didn't realize that like it happens like 2 or 3 times during that film where like he just, you're
he's
like,
a
man,
stormtrooper.
He is. And then like at a certain point it's like, dude, go in the background. Like you can do the helicopter. I don't know, man, like become a cook, like do something different.
There's other things that could be happening.
You do not need to be the gunman because obviously you're not good at it.
I do want to throw a Final Girl honorable mention to the Final Girl in Diary of the Dead, whose name is escaping me. Just for the evolution of that character over the course of the movie, going from like the very beginning where she is like super anti-camera and recording stuff to the point where she has edited and cut this film and like published it because she grows to understand the need to like show what's really happening and not just what's being like sanitized through the news cycle.
I still can't forgive her for that melodrama speech that she made to the
cameraman.
You want to hear me scream? Yeah. I can't. I
can reenact it. Do you want to hear me scream?
Kills
I don't even remember that.
It was in the hospital, and she just like, "Is this what you want? Is this?"
Let me scream.
Is that when he's like, "I gotta charge the camera"?
Where he's like, "I need to stay alone in this room full of dead people because this is the only outlet."
It's the only outlet in this entire hospital.
See, that movie is a stinker, but I do love talking about it.
Oh, absolutely. And I do agree with you, Cody. I think that like her character, although I'm so on the fence about it because like it's like I understand why, and I think at the end publishing The Death of Death is beneficial because it really does show the story of like the initial point of infection, but then it's also this like kind of you're kind of sniffing your own farts at the same time too, because it's like you could add in the music and the melodrama and the things like that. Like we put music in things because we want to.
Well, she always had such a talent for that stuff anyway, and stopped doing it because of him or something, right?
Yeah, well, exactly.
And let's also remember what was the quality of the movies that you were producing in iMovie at 22?
What are you talking about? We were indie filmmakers.
Okay, so the only gripe that I've got, and I stated it when we did the movie, is that I would have included everything except for that very lovable ragtag team of the National Guardsmen and the things in the warehouse where you have the closed circuit TV where you show exactly how to get in and out of it, and you've now just blown that dude's cover. I was like, you could, I mean, come on, we've all seen Vice documentaries. There's ways that you can kind of get around showing the exact location and like, I don't know, access pin code to a secret layer.
Yeah.
Well, still got to get there.
I'm gonna also another honorable mention to Twin Tammy. I don't know if that's her name.
No, her name is Jane and Janet.
Oh my God!
Oh, Janet.
So
Damn it, Janet.
Janet.
Oh,
Yep.
damn it, Janet! Yes, because I can't put her as like my favorite final girl, but just the fact that she like made it to this moment where she's about to reveal what happened and get shot. She does like crazy.
A double, God damn it! Like it's the double like what the fuck, where it's like she's the most level-headed out of the entire film.
Yeah.
Until the last 5 minutes. Where it's like then she has the powers like
the character just goes away.
It's like a rain mist happened and like her character dissolved off of her, and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're my sister. Let me shove my whole hand in your mouth and let's see you bitchy. You fucking bitch."
I can't.
That Irish Western film. And then like literally 2 minutes after that being like, "Oh my gosh, did you just see over there? All that," and then just
boom,
just fucking
and they're like
toast.
Was she gonna say something?
Nah.
Let's go on the ship.
Let's get on that ship.
Let's get out of here. Oh my God.
Dude, I do love the scene in Survival though, where I forget the character's name, but he was swimming across to the ferry, and all the zombies like just breaching
that was
water.
horrifying. That was horrifying.
Ooh, like unnecessarily creepy for a movie that plays like a fucking Tex Avery cartoon.
Spoiler alert, though, for The Walking Dead once more, they did do a reference to that in the game because at some point we go underwater not to like our knowledge, and we see a swarm of zombies underneath the water. And we're like, what the fuck? It was crazy.
Yeah.
It is scary.
It is like an untapped.
I was just saying the same thing. I would like a zombie movie now where the zombies like come out of the ocean like Aquaman style, just like walk out.
Yeah. Because you have like, there are ones
like
from like
you've
the
been
70s,
on
like,
a safe and happy island.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like,
so like there was
giant horde.
What was it? Shockwaves had like underwater zombies, which is kind of a freaky movie. But do you guys ever read World War Z? Not the movie, but like the book.
No.
Okay, so there's a.
Well, I've read the movie and seen the book.
Well, they get into. If you haven't read the book, it's a phenomenal read. And also, the audiobook has like literally Martin Scorsese and a bunch, because it's all interview style. So there are it's like 100 people for the audiobook. I highly recommend it. But they also bring up the fact of like millions of people just going to the oceans and islands, and then so many people being infected, and then all of these people fucking dying, dropping in. So the coastlines of the entire planet are basically barricaded off because every tide has hundreds of zombies just washing up on shore.
My God.
Which it was when I'm reading that, because like again, like in the Romero universe, like we only dabble with water, like we don't really like fuck around with it.
Yeah.
When I read that scared the shit out of me, because I was like, I wouldn't even fathom, no pun intended, kind of pun intended, that like, oh yeah, like there would just be cruise ships of just infected people just getting hurled into the ocean, and then just millions, hundreds of thousands of zombies that would just randomly show up on beaches all the time, and that would just have to be a consistent threat probably for the rest of your life.
I'm now obsessed with Cruise of the Dead.
Oh no! A cruise ship wouldn't work because everyone would be infected within the first 30 seconds of the movie.
Amusement Park of the Dead.
That's just Zombieland.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
All right, guys. So, what is your favorite villain or do you have any particular highlights of villains in this in this franchise?
All my answers have been Day of the Dead heavy, but Rhodes is really love to hate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out Drunk Professor from Diary.
Ooh, he's kind of a little bit of a villain.
I think that he's the villain.
He's kind of like chaotic neutral. Like he's so drunk that he just kind of sits there and just patronizes everyone and then kind of does stuff. I can see him being a villain.
I do kind of like what's his name? Hopper?
Oh my God! Yes, in Land of the Dead.
Yeah, he's got a funny smarminess to him. Like I don't love to hate him, but just he's a fun villain. I do particularly love the part where he's running out of the building with the money, and one of the other rich guys comes up and he's like, "Oh, look out behind you!" And the guy turns around and he just shoots him in the back of the head.
No, that is pretty good. I think that I was there's something about Irish cowboys that I think having
from Delaware, is that where it was off the coast?
Off the coast of Delaware. There's something, just really, I don't know, man. It's like it's not cockles, but it's close to it, where I'm like, this is so preposterous that I like it could easily fit in like a Monty Python sketch. I think it's like those characters, and I feel like I could absolutely, like, I don't know, they're adorable to me. They don't make much sense and they're not really that great, but like together it just makes this like, oh, you're so cute, I just want to shrink you down, put you in my pocket, feed you Triscuits.
I gotta say, anyone from Day of the Dead, I think
the bikers?
The Day of the
Dead.
Military group.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone from there was it was a joy seeing them go. I think he created really great villains there to hate.
Yeah.
And they seemed threatening because our group that we wanted to survive, it seemed scary for them to be in that situation. They had a lot of stakes there. So I think they had great villains in that one.
Because Dr. Frankenstein is a villain in his own way too.
Yeah, it's like a very different shades of like villainry. I do like that the military guys are almost like the the individual Care Bears of misogyny. You know what I mean? Where like they almost have like they're all their own very special brand of like misogynistic.
Well, there's one that's just like a ultra. I mean, the guy who never stops yelling.
Yes.
We have Loud asshole.
Man. We have the Jackal dude who makes sexist and racist comments, but then heckles afterwards.
Yeah.
And then
Rhodes, who's more like a traditional, like mid-century misogynist.
Yes. What does he say? This isn't a goddamn field trip, people. This is a fucking war. He's like all business.
He's not wrong.
If you guys were to add your own Romero film into this, like what would be your Romero pitch? Like if you were going to add to this, it could be isolated, it could be an add-on. Where in your timeline would you want to put your Romero movie, and then what would, like, if Off the Top of the Dome, what would you want it to be
about? Okay, I would want like a post Land of the Dead movie.
Okay.
Who survives in that? Does Asia Argento survive?
Yeah, everybody in Dead Reckoning drives off, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they end up coming across a sort of similar... I just want somebody from the city. It doesn't even need to be them. It could be that dad and son or whatever to come across a new community that's was already an isolationist community. Like maybe it's some weird religion or cult that was already living outside the system. Because I think just that concept would be fun to explore, zombies within that. But I want to keep going with all the rules set before and how we're exploring what if we're exploring zombie intelligence? What if some sort of zombie faith could come into this one?
Oh wow.
So are you kind of thinking like you're going somewhere that is so isolationist that they didn't like know that the zombie apocalypse was happening?
I feel like they've become aware of it, but it hasn't even really affected them much. You know what I mean? Maybe like once every couple of months they kill a zombie that's around. Or, you know, when their own die, that they know they're going to become a zombie. But they've relatively unaffected by it. They'd be aware of it in some sense, but it'd be very just sort of worked in and no big deal.
Just a small road bump. You know what I mean? Like just for, okay.
I was kind of spitballing there because I could only think of joke answers, and I was like, well, if I could get a real one, what would I want?
What would be the real one? Yeah. I do like that, though, because it creates a different kind of perspective, especially if it's like the nothing... what is it? Nothing hurts unless it personally affects you. So it's having that where it's like more of an abstract concept becoming a real concept for people. I feel there's a lot of social message or like the
we've had enough anti-capitalist messaging. Let's do some anti-religion messaging in this one.
Yes, well, anti-religion, you know, like inclusionism. That kind. Yeah, I like that. Man, if I had one, I would probably it would probably be in between dawn and day, because I would love to see a Romero version,
like mid-morning,
like brunch.
Yeah, brunch of the dead.
Brunch of the dead. Because the way the structuring of like you have the underground facility, you have the mall, and then you have the house, is that I would love to have seen a full scale like in a city. As in, obviously, we see like the apartment complex in the beginning of Dawn, so it gives us an aspect. But like, I want to see the fall, because like you have like the falling of civilization in Dawn, and then in Day it's done. So like, I would love to see like the throes of a city being just taken over, and then like the movie is primarily them just trying to get the fuck out of that city, and then like at the end probably getting to a certain facility, getting out of that city, and then kind of like. Well, there's tons of like, even just not like, well, I've heard there's caves around this area about 100 miles west, but like we could try.
Caves was something I thought of, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback off of your idea, because that was kind of where I was heading to. I want something like city-esque, but maybe I'm going to go for like Seasons of the Dead. We start kind of like in a spring break kind of vibe. I want to set it between dawn and day, but I don't know at what point the outbreak. I'm gonna have to sketch that out, but it'll take from like a spring season all the way over to the next year's spring/summer, connecting it to the beginning of day, where we find that alligator. So like at one point there's a girl and her best friend is the alligator, and they both fight the zombies, and she has to raise this alligator to fight back. She doesn't make it, unfortunately. because we see at the beginning of day that it's all by himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
that's a learning moment. Like if you've seen
and we get the little tongue guy at some point. That could be like our father or something.
Who gets shotgunned at the end of that movie and then shows up in the beginning. Ooh, I like that. I also like that the alligator's the puppy.
Yeah.
Florida life.
So I'd like to pitch too, just because I have to buck the trend. It's like my whole role. So
That's what you're made for.
Because I can't decide which one that I want. The first that I was thinking of is like, I would call it like Future of the Dead or something.
Whoa.
And I would want to have a community that has almost established like a tenuous relationship with the zombies near them.
Ooh.
That like they... Like, I don't know quite how it would work. We'd need to like flesh it out, but somehow like the zombies and the humans have like sort of come to a truce and be able to like live together but separately, and then inject.
Sounds like the movie Zombies, the Disney original musical.
But then you inject.
There's multiple.
You inject like a group that was fleeing some other collapsed town. And they come smack dab into this town where you thought that you had a status quo, but now like they sort of start to flip the tables, and you have to question the morality of like sort of like getting to the question of what Survival was trying to ask of like is it actually moral to kill the zombies if they're like doing their own thing? So I would just like push that a step further. But my other idea actually is I would do like a full on from scratch reboot where we have like maybe I don't know, like people coming down from like a space station or something, and they lose contact with the crew, and the crew ends up being the first zombies, but like they crash out in the middle of nowhere. And the theme that we're exploring in this is government censorship, because the zombies, like the government goes out to find them, and it starts to like take over the people who are there to like rescue and recover the like space debris that the astronauts came down in. And it like starts to get out, but like having to play between the government trying to keep things under control and pretend like there is no zombie apocalypse, where it's also still actually happening, and you have to question like which reality is true.
Holy shit.
Right?
Yeah, dude. Yes, I like that. I like that a lot.
Incredible.
Because it does kind of pose the question of like, you know, that brings in all different kinds of stuff, because you could do in like the, you know, censorship and the idea of like government cover-ups and things like that, and just the debacle. I like that. Ooh, I like that a lot. All right.
Do you think
real anti-vax?
Do you think
we've had the anti-capitalist? Let's get the anti-vax.
Absolutely not. Pro-vax.
Pro-vax.
Do you?
That would be the end of it, where they're like, they have to. Ooh, see, the downfall of human beings would be that they actually develop a vaccine. They're like, listen, we can actually cure this.
Damn.
Nobody does it for some reason. And you're like, oh, come on.
Oh yeah. If anything COVID proved, we will not agree on.
Well, because that's extra flavor you could throw into it, because you could have people who are just like buying into the narrative and saying like zombies aren't real, and like this is just people dying.
I feel like if George A. Romero lived long enough, we would have gotten another one immediately. 100. Like he was writing 100%. It during lockdown and ready to go.
If anybody was willing to make it, because it's too before that kind of.
Well,
hey, you know what? It was 2020. A lot of things were just like, you know, like, listen, okay, we're all stuck in our houses. Hey, George, if you can film this in your backyard, you got a Netflix deal, baby.
We got White Lotus out of needing to film on COVID restrictions.
Oh, really? I haven't seen any of that. I have no idea what that is.
Me neither. Well, you have no idea what it is?
No, I've literally no idea what it is.
You haven't heard of White Lotus? Oh, it's a very popular TV show. Incredibly popular.
Incredibly popular. Kind of reignited Jennifer Coolidge.
Shame on you, sir, for not knowing.
Oh, I've only watched the Walton Goggins, Sam. Oh, he's one of my Rockwell scene. I've watched one scene from all 3 seasons.
Scene?
Yes.
That was out of nowhere. Oh, I love that scene.
Those are 2 of my favorite actors, so I was like, I'll just watch the scene.
We're kind of on a Walton Goggins rise in our life now, because the only other time I've seen him in was when we watched House of a Thousand Corpses for the first time. He was in that? Yeah, he plays like the not sheriff, but he was like a cop. And he has this like
is he the one that gets killed when the really long pan out?
Yeah, yes. That one. Yes.
You mean the 35-minute pan out?
I remember it was laughing we were in
silence for a while.
That was okay, so just a complete side tangent. But I was at the midnight showing of House of Thousand Corpses when it first came out in Orlando.
I may have been here. Wow. I was so excited for it. I saw it like multiple times in theaters. I haven't watched it in like 20 years, but
I distinctly remember because half the theater left halfway through. Like they could not handle this movie. They fucking hated it. So I remember
it's kind of fucked. It's
kind of fucked.
But I love that it's like very Halloween-y. I like it.
So this scene happens and you have this pan out, right? And right before he gets shot, someone stands up and he goes, "I can't believe you people are fucking watching this goddamn nonsense," and just marched out of the theater. And the second he left the theater, that's when the guy got shot. I was just like, this is amazing. I was like, I will never fucking forget that.
That is amazing. I remember laughing because it was so long and so quiet, and the theater was quiet, and I just started laughing.
Oh my God. We still have to watch. We have been asked to watch The Devil's Rejects. I don't know how that's gonna go.
That's probably not well.
No.
I haven't seen it in a long time. That's another one I saw multiple times when it came out, but that one I honestly have a feeling I wouldn't like anymore if I watched it again.
Oh my!
I mean, it's a bit mean, a bit cruel, mean-spirited.
Sam, I mean, that is an ample opportunity. I mean, like technically, what is it? House of Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, The Three from Hell. That is technically its own little franchise. Maybe. I'm just saying. Let me just sprinkle it on.
But if you want to get into Walton Goggins, you guys should watch Justified. He's amazing in that show.
Okay.
Justified. It's on Hulu. If you got Hulu, it was an FX show.
I like him. I think
Timothy
he did
Oliphant
really great
is the
in
star.
The White Lotus. I really liked him in that one.
Well, now I've got to fucking do an entire new series. How many seasons is this?
It's three.
I don't know.
3 seasons. We just
it.
wrapped up. If you want to watch hotel managers make extremely questionable ethical decisions, the first 2 seasons are for you. The 3rd season did not follow that trend, but it was still pretty good.
I will say though, this is a show where this is known for the show is that someone gets killed. They tell you at the beginning someone gets killed, but you don't know who. You find out at the end. But the main grab of the show is the characters and the gossip and the drama.
Character drama.
Yeah.
Okay, so to tie this into this episode,
I was just going to say,
do you think? Trust me, Sam. There's a method to my madness. So, do you think that the inhabitants of the White Lotus would survive a Romero-style zombie attack? Because, I mean, I'm just shooting the weeds here.
I don't know.
I'm going to say probably not. Maybe.
No. Everyone's out for themselves in that, and they're all rich people. So,
okay. So
I think they're definitely fucked.
Milk spoiled.
Yeah,
something like this.
Right. I did have a question though. Since we were on topic of like vaccines and stuff like that, I feel like these movies never have happy endings or anything. Like, is there one in the franchise that you wished had a happy ending?
So I think we may have talked about it with. Was it Day? Did Day have an alternative script where they actually found a vaccine? Or was that something we had talked about?
But I mean, Day kind of has a happy ending, right? They're on
an island.
They do escape.
Make some babies.
That's from the whirly bird.
It's that's actually a really good question. I would really like. I think Day, honestly, I feel like Day would have been, but like a bittersweet one. Where it's like, I would have loved the fact if they had actually found a vaccine and then it was just too late. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like at that point,
it's still sad.
So it's still sad, but it's got like a sugar lining on it. You know what I mean? Like, It's still a turd sandwich, but now it's got a glaze on it, like a Krispy Kreme donut. You know what I mean? So it's a little easier to stomach.
I would choose Dawn of the Dead. I feel like those we were connected to those characters for so long, and maybe that's because we watched the extended cut, right?
The long version.
The long version.
Yeah.
So. Wait, was that the one that we were meant to watch or not? I forgot.
It was what you could rent on Amazon, streaming.
I think it was the extended director's cut or something.
I still want to see the European cut that Argento did. That's all goblin.
It's good. It's good.
I would choose that movie to have a happy ending in which Francine and who was the other guy? I really liked his character too.
Ken Forhe's character.
Yeah.
Oh man, why can't I think of his name?
When they make it out, they realize they find an island that has the cure, and they can live happily ever after. They make babies.
I would have. Do you know how funny it would have been at the end of that movie? Is that they whirly bird up, they land, and they just meet the cops from the port, where they go, "We're going to an island. What island? Any island."
And one of them would be the guy that plays
got some smokes.
Captain Rhodes.
Oh my God.
Be his twin brother. That's the cop.
Oh yeah. That movie is also, I guess maybe we're ranking these at the end. I don't know.
Will be.
But I do have to say that Dawn has my favorite line from all of the movies, which is the when
there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Wow, guys, way to steal my moment here. So, I mean, I guess.
Just trying to help you out.
That's what you get for not remembering the
quote. I'm kidding.
Line.
Okay. You know, now kind of like mulling over about it. I would like to have the happy ending would be for Night. Is that I would have loved to have seen. I still like the impact of, unfortunately, of Ben being killed at the end of it. Like it would not be the same movie if that. But on the flippy flip, if after that they just open a barn or something like that, and there is badass Barbara on a stack of fucking zombie bodies.
No way.
That she finally got the moxie and she killed an entire room of them to survive. By the end of it, she snapped, but now she's badass.
Like in the prison in the Walking Dead comic. Spoilers for volume 8 of the Walking Dead comic. But what was his name? Tyrese? I can't remember, but he gets left in a cafeteria full of zombies, and you assume he's dead, and then later they open it and he's just there alone with dead zombies everywhere.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, because at least at that point, it's not going to say it redeems how she was written in that movie, but at least it would be a silver lining of okay, she kind of like the other Romero Final Girls, she kind of broke through and had some kind of form of character development.
Fair. Did we ever find out why she was written the way she was?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, we also remember what an indie movie the original was. They were just kids scrapping together a movie as best they could. It wasn't,
Did I ever say that there's a zombie movie out there with me in it?
What?
What?
Okay, no, not an actual movie. So in high school, one of my friends, he was a director, and he wanted to just put a movie together to submit somewhere. We filmed it in my basement, in my apartment basement where my parents still live in now, because it was crazy, scary as hell. And he wanted to do it very a la Night of the Living Dead. And we filmed it. We did everything. Our landlords kicked us out because there was lots of screaming going on. And I was like, oh, shit. So it's out there somewhere. I don't know if he still has it. And
I want to see this.
Do you still talk to this person? Or would it be weird if you asked?
I don't think it would be weird. But I think I can reach out to him and see if he still has it. Because he does films now.
Can you text him right now?
Right now? What time is it? What's he doing? Hey, Teddy.
You up?
Hey, you up?
But it was a lot of fun because that's how I learned. I don't know if this still stands true, but he told me like, oh, this is going to be in black and white. So we have chocolate syrup too, because I dyed it. My character died.
For blood.
Like, deliciously dyed.
I know. And I borrowed my dad's shirt without asking him. And I just poured chocolate syrup all over it because I don't know how I get shot in the neck. And then I do one of those like against the wall things and then just like slide down.
Nice.
That was cool. I liked it.
I love that. Okay, so if we find that,
we'll share it.
Please share it and then do a paywall because you know what? I think people need to pay to see that. Like,
I would. Depends. I didn't see the full thing, so who knows if it's good.
You guys got to do a react to it.
Imagine. Oh my god. Baby Sergio. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Just for Cody's reaction alone to the whole thing.
I think he'd be smiling the whole time.
She would be. I feel like he'd be delighted.
How about this? We'll do a double feature because right out of high school before college, I was in a homebrew movie.
Like a porno? No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god! I mean, it was before college. I needed the money. No, I was in a slasher film, and I was the slasher. And I sculpted the mask for it and a bunch of other stuff like that too. If I could find a copy of it, I'm going to send it to you. It was called Anguish. It was called Anguish. It's super moody and definitely made by people that are like in their early 20s.
Anguish definitely sounds moody.
I was also in a little indie VHS horror movie.
A triple R header. All right.
What?
I was a detective. I played a detective even though I was like 18
Oh my god.
and looked young for 18.
I'm Detective Babyface.
I was barely.
You look 18
didn't
now.
Have much of a role. Oh yeah. Thanks.
Oh shucks, thanks. All right, so now we got to watch. Now we have to watch all three of them back to back.
Were you in a movie?
Exclusively in Patreon.
No, I was not.
Oh man.
Well,
Not yet.
Not yet.
He's going to be the first one to be in a real movie.
Can you imagine?
All right. Speaking of films, I think we should rate and rank. Let's rank it. Let's rank these.
We've already rated them.
We are. That's true.
I'm only here to rank shit.
We're here to, let's. What's everybody's lineup? All right. You're sitting down. You got to watch all of these in a day. Are you doing it chronologically? Or are you jumping around? What's your?
So like, if we're thinking movie marathon here, like what we watch in order?
Well, if it's a marathon, I'm watching in order.
I mean, that's logical. But if you got a favorite, I mean, like, it's weird.
This is more if I was gonna pick one of them. That would be my number. Yeah, not to watch first. Like, if it's a marathon, there's no way I'm not watching it.
Sam's too much of a completionist. He's not going to shuffle the deck on this.
It's insane to me to even think about.
So,
God, imagine we like invite you over for a movie marathon, and we're starting with
a day.
All right, so
what would you say? How would you turn us down?
That's my favorite. I'll probably take off after that.
See, I was actually going to propose if you want to try to do like timeline order, that you could do like a Night of the Living Dead and then throw Diary in, because Diary is also like from Jump.
That's true.
Of the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
And then you could throw in, I think, Dawn and Day, and then Survival, and then
Land
last.
Okay, so this is what's weird. I'd almost shuffle it where it would be Night, Diary, Dawn, Survival, then Day, then Land. Because it's like, because the Survival is a direct sequel off of Diary, so it's still within the Dawn area timeline, I guess. I don't think it would be a good viewing experience just swapping survival in between Dawn.
It's actually ideal because you have the shit sandwich then where like
not the shit sandwich.
It's the compliment sandwich works for a reason, right? You have a good movie and then you slide that one in, then you got a good one again to like reward yourself.
You gotta hide the shit inside the good stuff.
That's the best bread ever. Put shit in the middle.
I'm doing a like AMC Halloween marathon kind of thing because I kind of feel like AMC sometimes does like Halloween 4, 5, 3, 6, 2, and then 1 at 8 p.m.
Yes.
So that's how I'm doing it.
I'm doing like backwards.
I'm gonna do it backwards. I'm gonna start with survival and end after hours, Night of the Living Dead.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh my god, that's fantastic. So, all right. Now we've got the order of operations for a movie marathon out of the way. What is everyone? All right, Sam, what's your ranking? Let's just throw you under the bus first.
Oh, sure.
Oh, damn.
I should probably have a list of all these movies in front of me.
Are we going to compare them to what we rated them originally?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Just to see if it matches up.
Row.
Do your eyelids sometimes twitch sometimes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Lack of potassium.
I haven't had a banana in so long, actually.
Eat some bananas. I used to have it a little bit of a twitch when I was tattooing it. I was like, oh, no. That's not good. And then I was like, and then I started, banana a day.
Nice.
All right, starting at the bottom, I assume.
The worst of the... Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to say... my order would be the bottom's tough. I guess Diary, then Survival.
Okay.
Then Land. Then this is where it gets tough. Honestly, Dawn, then Night, then Day at number 1.
Damn.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
I gotta go with what feels
right.
Locking it in.
Now, did my scores for these movies match what I just said?
Did they?
Let's see here. We got Diary at 1, Survival at 1.5, Land at 3, Day at 4.5. Dawn at 3.75 and Night at 4. So yes, it did.
Oh shit!
All right. Okay.
I like Night 0.25 more than I like Dawn.
Ooh.
Who's next?
How about Cody?
All right. So I think that my order would be probably Diary at the bottom and then Survival.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think I would have Night of the Living Dead next.
Okay.
And then this is where it gets tough because I have to rank like which movies were I think were good versus which did I enjoy watching more.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I would probably do after Night, I would do Day. And then I think I would do Dawn and then Land. I remember really enjoying watching Land of the Dead.
Land at the top?
Yeah.
Number 1? Holy smokes.
Awesome.
But does that match your scores? I wonder.
Oh, yeah. Let's find out. Okay. So, Survival and Diary. You had Diary at the bottom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we just all unanimously decide that Diary is going to be?
I think it might be. Yeah.
You gave a 0.75 to Diary and a 1.75 to Survival.
Okay, that matches.
And then you had.
And then I had Night was next.
Night was next. Night you had 3.5.
And then Day.
And then Day 4.5.
And then Dawn, and then
which
Land.
is also a 4.5. And then Land It must have grown on you with time, because Land is only a 3.
Oh shoot! I wonder what did it.
I think I just like
it's the early 2000s of it all.
I think I just like the redemption story of Big Daddy and watching him tear down the class structure.
Oh, that's what we need right now.
we need Big Daddy. We need more Big Daddies.
It's the social metaphor for this movie that really stuck with you, brought it to the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, damn the man. That's right.
That's right. Every generation needs their Big Daddy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The 1% living in their ivory tower.
Bring it down. Sergio.
Hello. That's me. Diary. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I can't watch that movie ever again. I don't know. Maybe. Diary, survival. Such a fun. I think that's just so funny to laugh at. No, that sounds mean. Actually, it's so funny. It's entertaining, even though it's bad. I'm gonna pick next Land. I think Land sounds right for me as next up. Then Day, and then it's a fight between Dawn and Night of the Living Dead. But I think I'm gonna pick Night of the Living Dead with Dawn at the top. I thought overall that was great, and I found it super entertaining.
Fantastic. Nice. Let's see how it lined up with your past rating.
Expose me.
So
that's where the Donald Duck comes
here. In. Diary and survival, correct.
Nice.
0.75 and 2.75.
Okay. Oh yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then Land 3.25.
Okay.
Day of the Dead 4.5. Here's the twister. Oh, never mind. That was Cody's score. You gave a 4.5 to all 3, Night, Dawn, and Day.
Oh shoot! I could go
so
either way. So
it's really just a matter of preference.
It's the time of the day for me is what I feel. Love it.
Mm-hmm. And then Ross, you don't know this, but Brian did text me his list.
Oh,
nice.
So
good.
I'm going to jump in here and
let's do it.
Read it, and then I will also compare it.
Perfect.
So starting at the bottom, we're all pretty much in agreement here. Diary, then survival.
Sorry for the Diary fans out there.
Then he also has Land. And this is, when it gets interesting with the big 3.
Okay.
You got Night at number 3, Day at number 2, and Dawn at number 1.
Nice.
So that's 2 Dawns, a Day, and a Land, which I love. Because it's still it's of the, later trilogy, the later half, it's the only good one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then compared, let's see here. Diary, Brian gave... Oh, I was still on Cody and Sergio. Excuse me one moment. Brian gave Diary a 1.25. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and he likes survival. He gave it a 3.25. He was like, man, I wish I'd been there. I would have changed your mind. And then he has Land at a 3. So his ratings would have flipped survival and Land.
Oh, wow.
I wonder if he would in his heart, too. He just didn't want to give it that much credit because we all shit on it so much.
Right.
Then he has Night at 3. Let's see here. Night of the Living Dead. When did we start these? Oh, getting into Chucky territory.
Uh-oh.
Night of the Living Dead 4.25. Then he had Day and Dawn, and he gave them both 5s. So, pretty much dead on accurate. 0.25 off on 2 of them that are who knows? He wasn't here for survival, so we'll never know what he really thinks. I'm never going to let him talk to me about it.
We just shut that conversation down.
Don't even dare.
Don't you dare talk to me about survival.
All right. Poosticle.
Ooh, yes. All right. Well, all right. So I think bottom of the stack is going to be Dawn. Then we're going to go with Day.
What?
Oh! No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, is he doing it? Does he not know he's reversing it?
No, I'm getting the trash out first. No, absolutely in unison. It is going to be Diary and then Survival. And then, okay, this is where it gets fucking weird for me because it's... I kind of want to put it Diary, Survival, Night, Land, Day, Dawn.
Okay.
Boy.
And okay,
do what your heart tells you. Don't worry about what these gatekeepers think about how you should feel about these movies.
I'm going to lay. That was my gut reaction. I'm going to keep the cards as they lay.
Are you sure you're feeling right about that? I just want to ask.
Part of me does. I think that realistically, and this is not kind of showing my hand on something that you guys haven't seen yet. I thoroughly love and enjoy the original Night of the Living Dead. If I had the opportunity to watch the OG one or the Tom Savini one, I grew up on the Tom Savini one more. So like, I actually am going to watch that. And I feel like it does some course corrections that I kind of enjoy. So in like a viewing aspect for me, it's more of like, yeah, it's kind of, to me, it would be on the bottom of the list next to Diary and Survival. Nothing against that movie, but I would, for enjoyment's sake, watch Land, Day, and Dawn before OG any day.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I honestly, I was gonna give it to Day because I really do like Day of the Dead, but just from a horror nut perspective, I have bought this. I've had this thing on VHS. I've had it on DVD. I got the box set that had like 6 different versions of this movie and had seen. Oh, it was like my comfort food. I would watch different versions of this like all the time, like ad nauseum. So like if I didn't give Dawn number 1 spot,
I knew Dawn was going to be your number 1.
Yeah, 100%.
3 dawns a day in a land.
So where does that lay on my scores?
Yeah, let's see where we go here. So Diary 1.5.
Okay.
Which you liked it twice as much as Cody and Sergio. Survival of the Dead 275. And then let's see, between land you have 325. Night you gave a 5 to.
Mm-hmm.
So according to your scores, yeah,
Night is aghast now.
All the original 3 you gave 5s to.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And I feel like maybe you ended up giving a Night the original a 5 just out of honor to the
it
duty,
is.
respect.
I think that is
and maybe you didn't rate it really using the scale.
Well,
I really find it interesting how...
Maybe I use my heart, Sam, like you tell me to use all the time. And I did.
I really find it interesting when people are ranking movies. You really have to think about how much you personally enjoy those movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, because when you're reviewing it for like podcast sakes, you're kind of thinking of it like critically. You gotta like review the movie.
But I try and make the scale not critically and based on enjoyment.
Oh, 100%. But I think also, I do agree with you, Serge, is that like, I think when you cover heavy hitter movies like this, in the back of your mind, it's kind of like, for me, it's like, I knew the movie was a 5 because like, I do enjoy it every time I do actually get to watch it. You know what I mean? But then also in comparison to the other ones, then it kind of leans into my like, the fulfillment of the series versus the fulfillment of the individual film, I guess would be the best way of putting that. So it's like, oh, I enjoy, like, it's a 5, but also there's 2 other 5s on this list. I think I'm gonna.
Right, but you also put a not a 5 above it.
Yeah, because
like
got Dennis Hopper, baby,
or something.
Got Dead Reckoning.
You know what could affect it? When you think about it, what could affect it is T-shirtable. I think T-shirtable is the only one where it's like not like movie based, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah. I would say Cockles is probably more biased by your personal feelings about the movie.
But I feel like when you're thinking like critically, it's like T-shirtable is the one where you're not like really thinking about it. So at the end, it could throw things off.
All right.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's so true.
Not trying to say go and replan anything.
But
no,
I was just going to say,
but
like rewatchable is the last finger, and Ross gave that a full 1, and clearly that's not true.
Well, I would still watch Night of the Living Dead, and I still do watch Night of the Living Dead.
But you just went on about how you watch all these other movies first.
Yeah, because they exist.
But it's just not a full 1 is my point.
Well,
I mean, Dawn of the Dead should be a 5. I should have given it a 5, but I gave it a 3.75 because that's, the honest truth.
Well, Sam, I'm not an honest person.
Well, no, I was saying I think it is out of like respect for the movie.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also still not an honest person. All right, so that's great.
We're not even friends.
We're not even friends.
Who are these people?
It's all a front.
It's all a front. We actually pay each other to be here.
Back and forth.
It's monopoly.
Well, we pay each other to spit in each other's mouths.
Yes. Yeah. While proclaiming the alphabet. Guys, this has just been such a fun Romero adventure to be you guys on.
Yes.
So I was actually going to say, if y'all are up to it, because I'm on the Wikipedia page because I was trying to make sure that I'm remembering shit as we're talking about this. Mm-hmm. It does have a little summary of what Twilight of the Dead would be.
Yes.
If you want to hear that to wrap this
yes,
up.
100%. Yeah.
All right. So this is, I'm just quoting my sources from the Wikipedia page.
TBA. Mm-hmm.
So in the 2010s, Romero was dissatisfied with his series ending with Diary and Survival. He penned a film treatment with co-writer Paolo Zalotti depicting a conclusion to the series that explains the fate of the zombie protagonist from Land of the Dead and an ending where humanity has become virtually extinct.
Damn.
He had written the beginning of the script, but the project was stalled when he died of lung cancer in 2017. It was announced in 2021 that the film had been put back into development with Zalotti finishing the script. And let's see, Suzanne Romero is quoted as saying, "This is the film he wanted to make, and while someone else will carry the torch as the director, it is very much a George A. Romero film."
Aww.
It was announced in 2023 that they were going to start production in the 4th quarter of that year. And a month later, it was announced that it would be directed by Brad Anderson, and Mila Jovovich and Betty Gabriel were cast in lead roles.
Mila?
And Nicotero would be involved as well with special effects.
Oh wow!
So that was announced. It was supposed to be filming like 2 years ago.
It was supposed to start production in the 4th quarter of 2023.
Okay, but it's still coming down the pike.
I just Googled it because I was curious, if this was still going on. And the most recent headline I found was in November 24. Talking about Mila Jovovich leading the movie.
Awesome. All right, so still going.
So it's still we could be back here talking about a brand new movie. Yeah.
I'm digging it down. I also like the fact that return a big daddy.
I know, that would be so cool.
That would be cool.
I love that, and I love the idea that it is now just kind of a zombified world, and we're witnessing their society.
That's crazy.
At some point, the last human baby is going to be born.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be like Planet of the Apes and Children of Men, but just zombified. So it's just going to be it's going to be Big Daddy protecting a baby.
Oh my God.
Carrying on his real namesake.
Yes. Oh, that's perfect. I love that. That is a beautiful
I'm excited.
Cherry on this just flesh goo intestinal dropping sundae that we've just been divulging in for the last 5, 6, 7 10,000 installments.
Wow.
We've been here forever. We've never actually left.
However many months.
Yeah.
Now we got to pick a new franchise.
Yes.
Shit.
Perhaps those
It could be
Rob
so many
Zombie
things.
movies.
It's a lot.
We'll see.
The Rob Zombie movies was pitched at
Yeah,
some
it
point.
was. We got some heavy hitters. So
do
I
you
feel
think
like
we could take that? I feel like I need to have therapy at some point.
Oh yeah, I was going down the list of a few different franchises, and I was like, you know what? I value our friendship.
Well, I would definitely love to do we'll talk about this later. I'd love to do a franchise that add stinkers in it too, because that's also fun.
Oh, stinkers are
stinkers,
fantastic.
yeah.
But Cody, Sergio, Horror Bandwagon, thank you so much, as always, for just being our franchise friends and just and hanging there with us. Can you just let everyone know, if they don't already, which is insane to me, but if they don't know, where can they find you?
Would you like our full address?
Wait, no, go for it.
So you can find us on pretty much every social media platform at the Horror Bandwagon. You can find us on YouTube, which is where we post the most. We do have a Patreon where we do, if you're with us to watch along with some longstanding shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Charmed, we do have a Patreon where we're watching through all those. But check out our YouTube. We have a whole bunch of movie and show reactions on there. We do live streams to play scary games.
We always like to mention that the podcast is coming back, and it never does. But you know what? In tradition,
I don't believe it.
It's coming back, baby.
It's coming back. No, but I do want to take the moment now, just in case. I always like death. Like for me, it's always just like something in the back of my mind. So I'm always just wanting to say, like, I love you guys. Thank you so much for
love you.
I love you, Brian.
Love you guys.
Like,
shout out to Brian.
You have no idea how much this has meant to us to find like people who do this and that can call friends and hang out. Like we genuinely miss you guys when we don't see you for an extended period of time.
Likewise.
Yeah,
totally.
I don't know if we said it on or off pod, but yeah, no, we're centralizing most of our recordings now just so we can see you guys once a month.
Yeah,
so
it needs to happen.
Oh, absolutely. It is really fun, especially. I mean, you must really like us because like we've gone through some insane franchises at this point. So like you
invited us to your wedding. That was when I knew. I was like, oh man,
it's serious.
That's real.
Our relationship is serious.
They really do like us.
We have a official picture of Ross and Brian at our wedding.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I didn't go. I was like, wait, you're marrying each other? No way.
Sam didn't know we were gay. That was the breaking point.
It was also really weird too because I actually printed out a 6 foot tall cutout cardboard of Sam that I could bring to the wedding. They confiscated it at the airport.
Yeah, sadly,
they wanted it for themselves. They brought it home just to like put up in their room.
I couldn't travel with hot materials, so I took it away from me.
No, I am actually still very bummed that I couldn't go.
We're bummed too.
Day, but the fun just to see you guys.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna hunt you down. We're going to come visit you guys. So
we should plan. Yes. We should do another New York trip at some point, and then we'll make sure to get together again.
Absolutely,
Sam. Now you just have to know that when they renew their vows, you have to be there because that's kind of like a redo.
And actually, only you.
True. Oh yeah.
He's just the only.
That's kind of iconic.
He's going to officiate it, and he's going to be the only person there.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Just tell me when.
Oh, beautiful. And on that note, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you get a hankering, check out our other episodes. We very loving shout out to you, Sam. Thank you so much.
Very loving shout out to you, Ross.
Yes, and a loving shout out to the man with the man with the velvet touch. The man that is handcrafted. Okay, so you take the raw audio, right? And then Brian comes up from behind you like in Ghost.
Oh, shit.
And he's forming that clay. and he's guiding our hands into the perfect vase that
primordial
is
goo.
The primordial goo book
true.
that turns into this episode. So this finished product has been thoroughly rubbed and scrubbed by our main man Brian. And
he's taller than I thought he was. So he can wrap. He can wrap you.
Oh, he can. He's also 15 and a half feet tall. So when you met him, he was squatting the whole time.
I like to picture him rising like a zombie from Land of the Dead out of that cum lake.
Yes.
It's
just
oozing.
That's how I like to picture my Brian.
Looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man just exploded all over
my
him.
God.
Yeah, shout out.
Thank you to our Patreon. Thank you to listeners. And if you've gotten this far, you know what? Why don't you do yourself a huge favor and listen to one of the other franchises that we've gone through. We've gone through Child's Play. We've gone through all of the technically
most
all
of the Rec movies.
Most of the Rec, except
Final Destination.
Final Destination.
I always forget about that
coming
one.
out. We gotta come back and revisit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We do gotta get the new one.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna wait to see it till you can react to it?
Yeah.
We are.
Well, that'll make it easier to do it for the show. Exactly. for the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Take notes, all that stuff.
And as always, Chuddle a friend, Chuddle a family member. If you enjoy it, show it to someone you love. And
text somebody right now.
Right now.
An episode of the show that you like.
We'll know if you don't.
We will know
if you don't. That's a part of the Chuddle magic.
The Chuddle gods.
We've always been here. All right, guys, thank you so much. As always, I love you and avoid the time loop.